G'day fellas, and welcome to the third game in the series between LucifroN, who spawns in over on the east side of the map, playing the Rus in the color blue, and his opponent, who spawns on the west side of the map. Nili, who is it?
West side of the map, it's Kyo, aka Tok, and we see a 5 villager on wood opening, 1 on the berries, and as you can see with Rus, we're now going for all the deer here. Big question, 1 or 2 scouts? I'm a fan of 1.
1, yep, 1 is definitely it. I think it was, I can't remember exactly the mirror map that or the mirror match that we saw, but I think it might have been a Vortex game. And basically, yeah, it's a huge burden upon your economy to go for that second scout in the early game. And just typically because not only have you got to pay for that scout, but your town center is idle for that time, and subsequently the villager is missing that you would have created in that meantime.
The thing is though, since there are no wolves on this map, if you only get 1 deer spot, it's actually getting really tight to get up to feudal age then, if your opponent gets the other 3 deer spots. Yeah,
it can be very, very unfortunate when it comes to that, but yeah, one of the things that we saw is that if you do go for that second scout, you're going to be a little bit delayed on your age up, and when it comes to this matchup in particular, it's Rus versus Rus. I know a lot of you guys will be rolling your eyes out there. Don't worry, I'm rolling them too. Sometimes I can barely even see them in the back of my head, but it's going to be about just getting in to your opponent's fishing line as quickly as possible and killing their fishing boats before they can convert. That's really what it is. So it doesn't matter. You can neglect your economy as much as possible. Just go over there, kill your enemy before they can kill you. That's the best way to play this map. But speaking of the spawn on this map, Nili, bit of an interesting one, don't you think?
Spawn actually feels very reasonable.
Really?
Yeah, what should I look at?
I was just looking at the way that the water is spawned on the map.
Don't try to make some penis jokes.
Okay.
No, this is the Microsoft sponsored professional tournament. Please behave.
Oh, I apologize. We are playing the official Microsoft game. I will do my best to behave in the future. I apologize, Nili. Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to expect if these players somehow manage to make it past 5 minutes in this game.
So the big question is, how many resources do we have to morph some ships? How many fishing ships can we still have there? And it often comes down to who got more bounty. In this case, both get the same, so very similar. I think just going forward and morphing 2 seems to be the matter. And then the big question is, who affords a wooden fortress when?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a big play. We now see LucifroN going to be coming in with 8 villagers on his golden gate. So he's trying to get up as quickly as possible. Tok yet to even click up at this point. Going to be dropping it down with 9 villagers. He probably knows he's a little bit behind. Hasn't actually scouted out his opponent yet. But obviously that 9th villager not really going to contribute too much to the build time. But yeah, LucifroN quite ahead at this point in time. We'll see as he begins moving forward 2 of those fishing boats. We see that he scouts out his opponent. He probably knows that, or he definitely knows that his opponent is behind, and there is room to outplay right now. As look at this, he actually comes right up to the fish of his opponent, and he says g'day.
Better love story than Twilight.
Now, Nili, do you know what the counter is to this play?
I don't know.
The counter is to take your fishing boats and actually just run them away. Because your fishing boats have a faster movement speed than the Lodya fishing boats that are morphing. So what you do is you just spread them out all over the map. And that's how you outplay it. But it seems like people haven't really worked that one out yet. Looks like Tok gonna be trying to convert his own boats up. But take a look at this. LucifroN trying his best to spot those out. He's sending up his own attack ship towards the boats of his opponent. Let's see if he spots it. He's about to. These guys haven't transformed yet. They've still got a couple seconds. And keep in mind, they've only got 125 health. They're losing 40 health a volley. And he does actually manage to take one out before it comes up. And keep in mind, when it transforms over, it has the exact same percentage of health as it does when it was a fishing boat. And so 3 volleys came off. It went from 125 down to 5 health. When he transformed over, he went up to 400 health. But obviously, it was a percentage of that, so he was on like 7 health.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. And behind this 3 fishing ships still for LucifroN as well. Now pressures quite a bit more. And Tok now goes for Wooden Fortress next to his dock. This can't be the right choice.
Yeah, this is a tough one, isn't it? I mean, he puts the wooden fortress down. He's going to be able to stay alive for the moment. And he'll need to get the arrow slits in there. That'll be able to extend that range out and be able to defend it a little bit. The issue that he's going to have is that his enemy is getting ahead. So behind this, you know, LucifroN's able to use those deep sea fish. He's able to have complete reign over the fridge. Over the fridge? Did I say over the fridge? He can eat whatever he likes out of the fridge. Yeah, I mean, you can see right now that the range on that wooden fortress, I mean, it barely reaches the other side of the dock.
And how do you proceed from here now? Yeah, you can get some nice shorefish. That's good for you. But messing up will be pretty tricky. And now LucifroN simply should not underreact. Maybe add a second dock. Just continue with his loiter attack ship production. And he will always have the better economy because he has 3 fishing ships still working.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. He's always going to have that advantage. Not to mention that there's a wooden fortress up here on the front line that is, for all intents and purposes, useless.
At least when it comes to the wooden camp, but we don't see the wooden fortress on the other side. LucifroN now even adding a blacksmith. Interesting. Tries to get the attack upgrade potentially.
Yeah, curious decision. He's also going to be dropping down a stable as well, so could be looking to get the +1 range defense. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. More attack ships coming out though, so he is looking to fight on water for a little bit longer here. And I feel like Tok, I mean, this is a difficult spot. If you're looking at from this perspective and you're wondering, how the heck do I get back into the game? That is a really difficult question to ask. You're already down. So, you're already down with such a disadvantage, and I guess there's a few questions. Number one, do I bother investing in water anymore? And if so, what should I do, you know, in response? Should he just go for double TC at this point? I mean, he's got a couple tickets in the bank. He could probably afford to get a town center up soon, but isn't his enemy just going to outboom him on the water?
That's always the big option, right? You have to hope that your opponent is somehow screwing up, that they're maybe underproducing water, but look at that. LucifroN not doing him that favor and still looks at 6 solid loiter attack ships. Second dock still not finished for Tok. LucifroN still in full control.
Yeah, he's looking very, very strong with the huge amount of attack ships he's got. And I guess the other point to note is that when it comes to the Rus, they're incredibly flexible when it comes to these water fights, just simply because if he wins the water fight, well, he can just take these attack ships and he can turn them back into fishing boats. And he's a very happy camper because, you know, he's going to be able to make 6 villages out of it. But you can see him trying his best. The villagers on the shore here, heading inside. He still actually doesn't have the arrow slits upgrade. So a little bit of a misplay here from Tok. It would help him out a huge amount here. The other alternative would be to get up to the castle age and get that Springwood placement out, but I feel like it's too little too late at this point.
Also feels like investing the 100 gold to buy that stone. Not really what he wants to do. He kind of wants to keep his wood count high. Still only 2 docks. LucifroN just in so much control. The big question will be, what will the knights achieve? Especially because the wooden fortress is in no man's land.
Yeah, wooden fortress obviously going to be able to keep those villages nice and safe. They'll be able to jump inside, but as you mentioned, there's no wooden fortress on the wood line at this point in time, and that means that villagers going to be very prone to being attacked out there. In addition to that, villagers on the gold mine as well, unprotected, and they are being scouted out now by the scout of LucifroN. He is well aware of what's going on, but +1 being picked up on the attack or ranged attack for LucifroN as well, so he's going to be doing extra damage out on that bay.
Oh, look at that. Even brings the fishing ships now. 10 attack ships and 1 fishing ship in there. Now goes for the spread. Tries to take the big engagement. 10 against 6 ships.
Yeah, that is a huge amount of ships now coming through. 12 attack ships for LucifroN at this point, going up against the 6 attack ships of his opponent. More than double the amount, and he is really coming in for the kill at the same time on the gold mine. Take a look at that, Nili, and we can see he's dropping down that second town center. We talked about that a little bit earlier and whether it was a good idea. But, I mean, judging by the amount that he's losing on the water, I guess it is a potential option that he's got. But the question is, at what cost? At what cost as he continues to lose villagers, not paying attention at all? It looks like there might be 6 villagers going down on that gold mine that night. Now going to be working towards sieging down the town center, or actually taking down the villagers out there. It's not looking pretty at all for Tok.
Oh man, no reaction there on the gold is so surprising to me, and more villagers falling. Only now sees it after potentially losing like 7 villagers. GG.
And that's going to be the horse that broke the camel's back. Yes, you heard that correctly. There are a lot of horses on that camel, and unfortunately, that was the horse that broke it. Really tough game there from Tok. LucifroN played that incredibly well. Very methodical from him. With Tok, obviously did go for that second town center. I feel like he probably could have kept his head in the game as well if he didn't lose those villagers. That was the big thing. If he kept those villagers alive, he probably could have been all right.
Still losing water. It felt like LucifroN was in such a good position. I think even if the TC goes up, the boom is not really an option there.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, to be real, let's think about, like, let's extrapolate a little bit. The town center goes up. He makes lots of villagers. LucifroN then reaches the third age because he's got complete water control and he's, he's fishing on the water. He takes all 5 relics. He takes one of the sacred sites. He's got a 600 gold lead. He's probably going up to Imperial shortly. Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do as Tok. You got to win the water, don't you?
I think so. Yeah, I think if you lose the water, you have to have another advantage. But like being so far behind in Castle Age, certainly not really an option for you. And Tok will need 4 games in a row if he still wants to get a ticket to the main event.
That is a really good point, Nili. That was the 3rd game. Next game, match point. So if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you stick around because the next video coming up, it's going to be potentially the final one.